The boss was paralyzed when he saw his missing daughter's ring on the waitress's hand. The late afternoon sun filtered through the tall windows of Carter's on Michigan Avenue, painting everything in shades of amber and gold. Michael Carter pushed through the heavy oak doors of his flagship restaurant, the weight of 20 years pressing down on his shoulders like an old coat he couldn't take off. He'd built an empire on this street. 5 restaurants across Chicago, each one more successful than the last. Awards lined his office walls. Critics praised his vision. Investors courted his attention. But none of it meant a damn thing. "Good evening. Mr. Carter?" The hostess smiled nervously as he passed. They all did that, smiled and stepped aside, like he was a storm cloud moving through. He nodded without really seeing her. His mind was already somewhere else, doing what it did every single day. Scanning faces, looking for one that would never appear. Grace, 6 years old when she vanished. 26 now, if she was still. He cut the thought off. He always did. 20 years of dead ends and false leads had taught him that hope was a luxury he couldn't afford. Better to keep moving. Keep working. Keep the restaurant running like clockwork. At least here, he had control. "Chef's asking about the sea bass order, sir." Marco, his general manager for the past decade, appeared at his elbow. "Tell him to use his judgment. That's why I pay him." Michael's voice came out harder than he meant it to. Marco didn't flinch. He was used to it by now. Michael walked through the dining room with practiced efficiency, his eyes taking in every detail. A crooked napkin on table 7. A water glass that needed refilling. A waiter who smiled too much, trying too hard. He cataloged it all, filed it away, but his heart wasn't in it. His heart hadn't been in anything for 2 decades. The evening rush was starting to pick up. Well-dressed couples settled into their booths. Business dinners began with handshakes and expensive wine. This was the world he'd created. Elegant, controlled, perfect. Everything his real life wasn't. He was heading toward the kitchen when it happened. A young waitress walked past him carrying a tray of appetizers, moving with the kind of careful grace that came from long shifts and sore feet. She wore the standard uniform, black pants, white shirt, the little burgundy vest they all wore. Her dark hair was pulled back in a neat ponytail. She couldn't have been more than 25, maybe 26. Michael barely glanced at her face, but then he saw her hand. The tray tilted slightly as she adjusted her grip, and the light from the window caught something on her right hand. A ring. Small, silver, old-fashioned, with a blue stone carved with a crescent moon and a star. The air left Michael's lungs. The restaurant noise, the clinking glasses, the murmured conversations, the soft jazz from the speakers, all of it faded to nothing. There was only that ring, catching the light as she moved past him. That exact ring. He'd had it custom-made 20 years ago at a little jewelry shop in Wicker Park. Spent hours with the designer, sketching out what he wanted. The moon and star were Grace's favorite things to draw. She'd cover paper with them, crayon in hand, tongue sticking out in concentration. "For my princess," he'd said when he gave it to her on her 6th birthday. "This means you're always with me no matter what." She'd thrown her arms around his neck. The ring too big on her tiny finger. "I'll never take it off, Daddy. Never ever." 3 weeks later, she was gone. Michael stood frozen in the middle of his restaurant, his hands starting to shake. The waitress had already moved on, delivering her tray to a table by the window. She was laughing at something a customer said, completely unaware that she'd just shattered his entire world. It couldn't be the same ring. There had to be thousands of silver rings with blue stones. Millions, probably. But a moon and a star, carved exactly like that. His legs moved before his brain caught up. He found himself walking toward her table, each step feeling like he was pushing through water. She was clearing plates now, stacking them with practiced efficiency. Up close, he could see her better. Dark eyes. A small scar above her left eyebrow. Tired. She looked bone-tired. The kind that came from working double shifts and still worrying about rent. And that ring, right there on her finger. "Excuse me?" The words came out rough. She turned, and for just a second, he saw something in her face that made his chest tight. The way she tilted her head slightly when she was listening. Grace used to do that. "Yes, sir. Is everything okay?" Her voice was soft, a little uncertain. She probably thought she'd done something wrong. "That ring." He pointed, not trusting himself to say more. She glanced down at her hand, touching the ring with her thumb. Oh, it was my mom's. Your mom's. Where? He had to clear his throat. Where did she get it? The waitress's expression shifted, something guarded moving behind her eyes. I don't know, actually. She never said. She paused. Is there something wrong with my service, Mr. Carter? So she knew who he was. Of course she did. Everyone who worked here knew the owner. No. Nothing wrong. He stepped back, suddenly aware that he was standing too close, that his intensity was probably scaring her. Just curious? It's unusual. Yeah. She touched it again, almost protectively. It's the only thing I have left of her. Past tense, Michael wanted to ask more, needed to ask more, but his throat had closed up. The emotions he'd kept locked down for 20 years were clawing their way up, and if he didn't get out of there right now, he was going to lose it in the middle of his own restaurant. Carry on, he managed, then turned and walked away before she could respond. He made it to his office and closed the door, leaned against it. His hands were shaking so badly he had to shove them in his pockets. That ring, that exact ring, it was impossible. Vanessa had taken Grace and disappeared without a trace. The police had found nothing. Private investigators had found nothing. For 20 years, it was like they'd been erased from existence. But that ring was real. He'd seen it, touched it once, a lifetime ago. Michael moved to his desk and pulled out the bottom drawer, the one he never opened during business hours. Inside was a folder, worn at the edges from too many late nights. He flipped it open. Grace's face smiled up at him from a dozen photographs. 6 years old, gap-toothed, completely trusting, and in 3 of the photos, that ring glinted on her small finger. He pulled out his phone, hand still trembling, and pulled up the employee directory, scrolled until he found her. Claire Hayes, 26 years old, hired 3 months ago, address in Lincoln Park, Claire, not Grace, but that ring. Michael sat in his office long after the dinner rush ended, staring at that name on the screen until the letters blurred together. Outside, the restaurant hummed with its usual rhythm. Life went on, like it always did, but something had shifted tonight, something impossible, and for the first time in 20 years, Michael Carter let himself feel something he'd thought was dead. Hope. Michael didn't sleep that night. He sat in his downtown penthouse. The city lights of Chicago spread out before him like scattered diamonds and stared at Claire Hayes' employee file on his laptop screen. The information was sparse. Previous address, none listed, references, a manager from a diner in Evanston, a landlord who said she always paid on time. Education, currently enrolled in night classes at Harold Washington College, studying accounting. No emergency contact. No family. He closed the laptop and rubbed his eyes. The rational part of his brain, the part that had survived 20 years of disappointment, told him he was being ridiculous. A ring was just a ring. Coincidences happened. But the father in him, the part he'd tried so hard to bury, wouldn't let it go. At 6 a.m., he gave up pretending he'd sleep and headed to the gym in his building, punished himself on the treadmill for an hour. Then another 30 minutes of weights, trying to exhaust the questions racing through his mind. It didn't work. By 9, he was back at the restaurant. Marco looked surprised to see him so early. Didn't expect you until this afternoon, boss. Couldn't sleep. Michael poured himself coffee from the staff pot, black and bitter. The new waitress, Claire Hayes, what do you know about her? Marco raised an eyebrow, but didn't comment on the question. Good worker, never late, never complains, picks up shifts when other people call out. The customers like her. She's got a nice way about her. You know, friendly without being pushy. How'd she end up here? Applied online like everyone else. Came in for an interview. Rosa liked her. I signed off on it. Marco paused. Something wrong with her? No, just doing my due diligence. Michael took a sip of coffee, barely tasting it. She have any friends here? Talk about her personal life? Now Marco definitely looked curious. Not really. She keeps to herself mostly. I know she's in school. Mentioned it once when I asked why she only wanted evening shifts, but that's about it. He hesitated. Boss? If there's a problem, "There's no problem." Michael set down his cup. "When does she work next?" "Tonight, 5 to close." Michael nodded and retreated to his office before Marco could ask anything else. The day crawled by. He tried to focus on invoices, on the new menu chef Andre wanted to introduce, on the 100 small decisions that kept a restaurant empire running. But every few minutes, his eyes drifted to the clock. At 4:30, he found himself walking through the dining room, adjusting things that didn't need adjusting, straightening chairs, checking table settings, making sure he'd be visible when she arrived. She came in at 10 to 5, through the employee entrance in the back. He watched her clock in, tie on her apron, pull her hair back. She moved with efficiency. No wasted motion. A girl used to working hard. Grace would be 26 now, the same age. He pushed the thought away and made himself wait 20 minutes before approaching. She was setting up her section when he walked over, hands in his pockets, trying to look casual. "Claire, right?" She looked up, and he saw a flicker of nervousness cross her face. "Yes, Mr. Carter. Is everything okay?" "Fine. Just wanted to check in. You settling in all right? Been here what, 3 months now? Almost 4? Actually," she relaxed slightly, "it's been great. Everyone's been really nice." Up close, he could see more details. The way she bit her lower lip when she was uncertain. The small calluses on her hands from years of service work. And that ring, catching the light every time she moved. Good. He was stalling and he knew it. "Where'd you work before this?" "A diner in Evanston before that, a few different places." She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "I moved around a lot." "You from Chicago originally?" The question made her pause, and something shuddered in her expression. "Not exactly, my mom and I. We moved here when I was young. I don't really remember much before that. When she was young," Michael's heart was hammering now. "Your mom's still in the area. She passed away 2 years ago." Claire's voice went quiet. "It's just me now." The grief in her voice was real, raw, whatever else was true. She'd loved the woman she called mother. "I'm sorry." And he was, despite everything, despite the rage building in his chest at the thought of Vanessa, because it had to be Vanessa, keeping his daughter from him all these years. Claire nodded, touching that ring again. It seemed to be a nervous habit. "Thank you," she was. Complicated, but she was all I had. That ring. The words came out before he could stop them. "You said it was hers." She looked down at her hand, a small smile crossing her face. "Yeah, Vanessa, my mom. She always wore it. When she got really sick at the end, she gave it to me, made me promise to keep it safe." She glanced up at him. "I know it's probably against policy to wear jewelry while working, but it's fine." His voice came out rougher than intended. "Keep it. It's beautiful, Vanessa." She'd confirmed it without even knowing what she was confirming. "Thanks." Claire smiled at him, genuine this time. "She never told me where it came from. I always wondered. It's so unusual, you know. The moon and star. Grace's moon and star. The ones she'd drawn 1,000 times. Very unusual," he managed. The evening rush started, and Claire excused herself to take care of her tables. Michael retreated to his office, his mind spinning. Over the next 2 weeks, he found reasons to be around her. Checking on her section, asking if she needed anything, making sure her tips were good. She was professional, friendly, but kept that wall up. The same wall he recognized in himself, the wall you built when you'd been let down too many times. He learned things in pieces, that she studied every night after work, often until 2 or 3 in the morning, that she lived in a studio apartment and walked to save bus fare, that she'd never known her father. "He left before I was born," she said once, and the casual way she said it made him want to punch something, and that Vanessa had never talked about him. She always said the past didn't matter. Claire told him one quiet Tuesday night when she stayed late to help with inventory, that all we had was right now, and we needed to make the best of it. Of course, Vanessa had said that. It was easier than explaining why she'd stolen a child and destroyed a family. But he didn't say that. Couldn't say that. Not yet. "Your mom," he said carefully. "What was she like?" Claire was quiet for a moment, counting silverware. "Sad, I think. Even when she smiled, there was this sadness underneath, like something was always hurting her." She paused. The last year, she got really sick. Cancer. She'd have these moments where she'd look at me and start crying, saying she was sorry. I never knew what she was apologizing for. Michael's hands tightened on the inventory clipboard. Vanessa had been sorry. Too little, too late, and not nearly enough. Did she ever talk about Chicago? About her life before you? No. Claire shook her head. She didn't like talking about the past. Would shut down if I asked too many questions. She looked at him then, and something in her gaze was searching. Why all the questions about my mom, Mr. Carter? He'd pushed too far. Just curious. You remind me of someone, that's all. It wasn't a lie. She reminded him of Grace, of Vanessa, of the family he'd lost. Claire nodded slowly, but he could see she didn't quite believe him. Smart girl. Grace had been smart too. That night, after the restaurant closed and everyone had gone home, Michael sat in his office with that old folder open in front of him. Grace's photos, the police reports, the missing persons file that had gone cold years ago. And now, in his hands, he held a new photo, one he'd printed from the employee file, Claire Hayes, smiling at the camera for her ID badge. He placed it next to a picture of 6-year-old Grace. The eyes were the same, that small scar above the eyebrow. Grace had gotten that falling off her bike, the way she tilted her head. But 20 years was a long time. People changed, memories lied. Hope could make you see things that weren't there. He needed proof. Real proof. Michael pulled out his phone and scrolled through his contacts until he found the one he needed. Daniel Chen, private investigator. They'd worked together years ago before Michael had finally given up on finding answers. The phone rang 3 times before a familiar voice answered. Michael Carter, it's been a while. I need your help, Daniel. I need you to find out everything you can about someone. Who? Michael looked at Claire's photo, at that ring on her finger, at the daughter he'd thought was lost forever. Her name is Claire Hayes, and I think she might be my daughter. Daniel Chen's report came back in 3 days, and it only raised more questions than it answered. Claire Hayes, or at least the person calling herself Claire Hayes, had virtually no paper trail before the age of 8, no birth certificate on file in Illinois, no medical records, no school enrollment. It was like she'd simply appeared out of thin air in a small town in Wisconsin, registered for 3rd grade under the name Claire Hayes, with Vanessa Hayes listed as her mother. It's not unusual for people running from something, Daniel had said over the phone. Domestic violence, debt, witness protection. They create new identities, stay off the grid. The mom's death certificate is real, though. Vanessa Marie Hayes died of pancreatic cancer 2 years ago at Northwestern Memorial. No other family listed. What about before Wisconsin? Michael had pressed. Nothing. And I mean nothing. Either your ex-wife was very good at covering her tracks, or someone helped her disappear. Michael sat with that information for 2 days. Turning it over in his mind, part of him wanted to march up to Claire and demand answers. But what would he say? I think your mother kidnapped you from me 20 years ago. She'd think he was insane. No, he needed to be smart about this. Patient. Get closer to her, earn her trust, and wait for the right moment. So he changed his approach. Claire, he called out one evening as she was finishing her shift. You got a minute? She looked tired. He'd noticed she always looked tired, but she nodded and followed him to his office. Have a seat. He gestured to the chair across from his desk. I've been looking at the schedule, and I'm wondering if you'd be interested in some different shifts, maybe some lunch service. The tips are better, and it would give you more evenings free for your studies. Her eyes widened slightly. Really, I mean, yes, that would be amazing actually. I've been struggling to keep up with my coursework. Consider it done. And there's something else. He pulled out an envelope. We have a continuing education fund for employees who've been with us more than 3 months. It's not much, but it should cover a textbook or 2. Claire stared at the envelope like it might disappear. Mr. Carter, I don't know what to say. Say you'll keep up the good work. He pushed it across the desk. You're one of our best, Claire. We take care of people who take care of us. She took the envelope with shaking hands. Thank you, really. This means more than you know. Over the following weeks, Michael found more ways to help. A catering event that needed extra staff. He made sure Claire got the gig and the overtime pay. A problem with her apartment's heat. He connected her with a tenant rights lawyer. Small things that made a difference. And slowly, carefully, she started to open up. My mom was always so worried about money, she told him one afternoon during a quiet lunch shift. They'd fallen into a pattern of talking when the restaurant was slow. Even when we had enough, she'd panic. I think she was scared of something, but she never said what. That must have been hard on you. I got used to it. Took care of her more than she took care of me. Especially at the end. Claire wiped down a table, her movements automatic. Sometimes I wonder what my life would have been like if things had been different. If I'd had a dad, someone stable. The words hit Michael like a punch. Your mom really never told you anything about him. Just that he didn't want us. That he was. She used words like cruel and cold. Said he cared more about his business than his family. She laughed. But there was no humor in it. I used to make up stories about him when I was little. That maybe she was wrong. Maybe he was looking for me. Stupid kid stuff. Not stupid. Not stupid at all. Maybe she was wrong, Michael said quietly. Claire looked at him, something uncertain in her eyes. Why do you care so much, Mr. Carter, about my story? I mean, you've been so generous, and I don't understand why. Because you're my daughter. He wanted to scream. Because I've been looking for you for 20 years. Because every time I see you, I see Grace's smile and it breaks my heart all over again. You remind me of someone, he said instead. Someone I lost a long time ago. Before Claire could respond, the moment was shattered by the arrival of someone Michael hadn't seen in months. Michael, darling, there you are. He turned to see Isabella Carter sweeping through the restaurant like she owned it. Which, technically, she partly did. She sat on the board of Carter Restaurant Group, a position she'd inherited when their parents died. His sister was 45 but looked younger, thanks to expensive treatments and a personal trainer she saw daily. Her blonde hair was perfectly styled. Her designer suit probably cost more than Claire made in a month. She'd always been beautiful. She'd also always been ambitious. Isabella, what brings you by? He kept his voice neutral. Can't a sister visit her brother at work? She air-kissed his cheek. Then her eyes landed on Claire. And who's this? Claire Hayes. She works here. He didn't miss how Claire had straightened up, suddenly self-conscious in her simple uniform next to Isabella's polished glamour. Charming. Isabella's smile didn't reach her eyes. Michael, we need to talk. About the quarterly reports. In private. He wanted to refuse, but Isabella was already heading toward his office, expecting him to follow. He glanced at Claire. We'll finish this conversation later. In his office, Isabella closed the door and dropped the pleasant act immediately. What are you doing? Excuse me. Don't play dumb. I've heard from Marco that you've been spending a lot of time with that waitress, giving her special treatment, money. Her eyes narrowed. Please tell me you're not having some kind of midlife crisis. It's not like that. Then what is it like? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're getting emotionally involved with an employee, which is a lawsuit waiting to happen. Michael moved to his desk, putting space between them. Isabella had always had a way of crowding him, of making him feel like he had to defend himself. I'm helping out a good employee, that's all. Really, because I had lunch with Rosa last week, and she mentioned you've been asking questions about the girl's background, her mother. Isabella crossed her arms. What's going on, Michael? He should have known. Rosa was the HR manager, and she and Isabella played tennis together. Nothing stayed private for long. It's complicated. Try me. He looked at his sister, at the woman who'd become the sole heir to the Carter fortune when Grace disappeared, who'd used that position to build her own influence in the company, who'd fought him every time he wanted to spend resources looking for his daughter. She might be Grace, he said quietly. The silence that followed was deafening. Then Isabella laughed. Actually laughed. You can't be serious? I'm dead serious. She's the right age. Her mother was named Vanessa, and she's wearing Grace's ring, Isabella. The exact ring I had made. His sister's laughter died. Michael, listen to yourself. Grace is gone. She's been gone for 20 years. This girl is a stranger who happens to have a similar ring. It's not similar. It's identical. Then maybe she bought it at a pawn shop. Maybe someone stole it and sold it. There are a million explanations that don't involve some miracle reunion. Isabella's voice had gone sharp. You need to stop this now before you make a fool of yourself. I'm not stopping. I'm going to find out the truth. The truth. Isabella moved closer, her voice dropping. The truth is that you lost your daughter 20 years ago, and instead of accepting it and moving on, you've been chasing ghosts, and now you've convinced yourself that some random waitress is Grace because you can't let go. Get out of my office. Michael, get out. Isabella stared at him for a long moment, then sighed. Fine, but when this blows up in your face, and it will, don't say I didn't warn you. She left, and Michael sank into his chair, his hands shaking with anger. He sat there for 20 minutes before returning to the floor. Claire was gone. Her shift had ended, but Marco caught him at the bar. Boss, I don't know what's going on, but Isabella just left. She looked pissed. He hesitated, and she was on her phone, talking to someone about doing a background check. Michael's blood ran cold. On who? I think on Claire. I heard her say the name. Of course, Isabella wasn't going to let this go. And if she dug into Claire's past, if she found the same holes Daniel had found, she'd use them. She'd twist them into something ugly, something that would make Michael look foolish. Or worse, she'd find a way to make sure Claire was discredited before Michael could learn the truth. He pulled out his phone and typed a quick message to Daniel. Need you to keep digging into Claire Hayes' background and find out if anyone else is looking into her too. The reply came back almost immediately, already on it. Be careful, Michael. If this girl really is your daughter, someone went to a lot of trouble to hide her. They might not want her found. Michael looked across the restaurant to where Claire had been working just minutes ago and felt a chill run down his spine. Whoever had helped Vanessa disappear might still be out there, and they might do anything to keep their secrets buried. The rumors started small, like they always did. Claire first noticed it during a busy Friday night service. She was carrying a tray of drinks to table 12 when she passed two of her co-workers, Jessica and David, near the server station. Their conversation cut off abruptly when they saw her. Hey guys, she said, setting down the tray to grab napkins. Crazy night, huh? Jessica smiled, but it was tight, forced. Yeah, super busy. David didn't even look at her, suddenly very interested in his order pad. Claire felt a prickle of unease but pushed it away. She was probably imagining things. She'd been working doubles all week, studying until dawn. Exhaustion could make you paranoid, but then it happened again, and again. By Monday, the whispers had grown louder. She'd walk into the break room and conversations would die. People would find excuses to switch sections rather than work near hers. Even Marco, usually so friendly, seemed distant when she asked about her schedule. Everything okay? She finally asked him on Tuesday, cornering him in the storage room. Did I do something wrong? Marco looked uncomfortable, shifting his weight from foot to foot. Look, Claire, I'm just going to be straight with you. There's been some talk. What kind of talk? About your background, about your mom. He wouldn't meet her eyes. Someone's been saying that Vanessa Hayes had a history of scamming people, that maybe you learned from her. Claire felt like she'd been slapped. That's not true. My mom wasn't. She would never. Hey, I'm not saying I believe it, Marco said quickly. But people are talking, and a couple of customers complained last week that their credit card numbers got stolen after eating here. Nobody's saying it was you. But they were thinking it. She could see it in his face. Marco, I would never steal from anyone. You have to believe me. I want to, kid. I do. But Mr. Carter's sister has been asking questions, and she seems pretty convinced there's something off about your story. Isabella Carter, the blonde woman who'd looked at her like she was dirt on her expensive shoes. Why would she care about me? Claire's voice came out smaller than she intended. Marco just shook his head. Above my pay grade. But watch yourself, okay? Whatever's going on. You're in the middle of it. The rest of the week was a nightmare. Customers who'd always been friendly now watched her with suspicion. Tips dried up. Someone accidentally spilled an entire tray of red wine on her uniform. Her locker was broken into, though nothing was taken, just rifled through, like someone was looking for something. The final blow came Friday afternoon, when Rosa called her into the HR office. Claire, we need to talk about some discrepancies in your employment paperwork. Discrepancies, Rosa, a plump woman in her 50s, who'd always been kind, now looked at her with professional coolness. Your social security number is showing some irregularities, and we've had reports of items going missing from the restaurant around the time you started. I haven't stolen anything, Claire's voice cracked. Rosa, you know me. I want to believe you, sweetheart, but these allegations are serious. We're going to need to do a full investigation. Who made these allegations? Rosa's lips pressed into a thin line. I can't disclose that. Claire left the office feeling like the walls were closing in. She'd been so careful, so good. She worked hard, never caused trouble, followed every rule, and now her life was falling apart for reasons she didn't understand. She was walking through the dining room. It was early, not yet open for dinner, when she saw Michael coming out of his office. For a brief moment, relief flooded through her. He'd been kind to her, had helped her. Maybe he could fix this. Mr. Carter, can I talk to you? He looked at her, and something in his expression made her stop cold. There was conflict there. Uncertainty. Maybe even suspicion. Claire, He ran a hand through his hair. Look, I need to ask you something. These rumors going around about your mother, is there any truth to them? The question hit her like a physical blow. You think I'm a thief? I didn't say that. But you're wondering. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not here. Not in front of everyone. After everything, the shifts, the money for books, all those conversations. You actually think I'm capable of stealing? I don't know what to think. His voice rose, frustration breaking through. You show up out of nowhere with no history wearing a ring that... He stopped himself, but not fast enough. A ring that what? Claire stepped closer, her voice shaking. You've been weird about this ring since day one. What's going on, Mr. Carter? Nothing. Forget I said anything. No, I won't forget. You've been asking questions about my mom, about my past. You give me special treatment and then... The pieces were clicking together, forming a picture that made no sense. What do you want from me? I just want the truth. The truth about what? I'm nobody. I'm just a waitress trying to get through college and survive. That's it. There's no big mystery, no conspiracy. I'm sorry if that disappoints you. Michael's face softened. Claire, save it. She pulled off her apron, hands shaking. I can't work like this. With everyone staring at me like I'm some kind of criminal, with you looking at me like I'm something you lost and can't quite recognize. She turned and walked away before he could respond, before she completely broke down, at home in her tiny studio apartment. Claire finally let herself cry. She sat on the floor with her back against the door and sobbed, all the stress and confusion and fear pouring out. Why was this happening? She'd done everything right, kept her head down, worked hard, tried to build a life from the ruins her mother had left behind. Her mother, Vanessa. Claire looked at the ring on her finger, the one constant in her chaotic life. Her mom had been so insistent about it at the end. Keep this safe, Vanessa had whispered, her voice weak from the cancer eating her alive. Promise me. Claire, no matter what happens, don't lose this ring. I promise, Mom. But why is it so important? Vanessa's eyes had filled with tears. Because it's the only proof. Proof of what? But her mother had slipped into unconsciousness, and she died 2 days later without explaining. Proof of what? Claire stood up and walked to her closet, pulling out the box of her mother's belongings she'd never fully sorted through. She'd been avoiding it, wasn't ready to face all those memories, but now she needed answers. She dumped the contents on her bed. Old bills, random photos of Claire as a child, always alone or with Vanessa, never any other family, never any friends, a few pieces of cheap jewelry, some papers that looked like medical records, and at the bottom, wrapped in a faded handkerchief, a small notebook. Claire opened it carefully. The pages were filled with her mother's handwriting, shaky and uneven. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought I was protecting her. I thought he would hurt us. But he's not coming. He's not looking anymore. I waited for him to find us, to fight for her, but he gave up. I've ruined her life. My daughter thinks she was abandoned. She thinks her father didn't want her. The ring will prove it. If she ever finds him. If he ever finds her. His name is Michael Carter. The notebook fell from Claire's hands. Michael Carter, the man who'd been asking about her ring, who'd been so interested in her mother, who looked at her sometimes like she was a ghost. Her legs gave out and she sat hard on the edge of the bed, her mind reeling. It couldn't be. It was insane. But her mother's words were right there, in black and white. His name is Michael Carter. Michael Carter was her father. The father Vanessa had told her didn't want them. The father she'd imagined 1,000 times as a child, making up stories where he was a hero who would come rescue her. And he'd been right there, right in front of her, for months. Did he know? Was that why he'd been helping her, watching her? Was that why his sister was trying to destroy her? Because she didn't want Claire to be real, or worse. Did he suspect but not believe it? Was that why he'd looked at her today with doubt in his eyes? Claire looked at the ring on her finger, really looked at it for the first time. The moon and star carved into the blue stone. Because it's the only proof. She had to talk to him, had to show him this notebook, had to understand what was real and what was another one of her mother's delusions. But as she grabbed her jacket to head back to the restaurant, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Stop asking questions. Leave Michael Carter alone. This is your only warning. Claire stared at the message, her hands starting to shake again. Someone didn't want the truth to come out, and they were willing to destroy her to keep it buried. Claire didn't go to the restaurant that night. Instead, she sat on her bed surrounded by her mother's belongings, reading and rereading that notebook until the words blurred together. The threatening text message sat unanswered on her phone. She should be scared. Part of her was, but mostly she felt numb. Her entire life had been a lie. Everything Vanessa had told her about her father, about their past, about why they'd moved so much and lived so carefully. All of it was built on deception. She called in sick the next morning, and the morning after that, Rosa left voicemails asking if she was okay, if she was coming back. Claire deleted them without listening all the way through. On the third day, she forced herself to get up. Her apartment was a disaster. Clothes everywhere, dishes piled in the sink, her mother's belongings still scattered across every surface. She needed to clean, needed to do something normal before she lost her mind completely. She started with the closet, pulling out boxes and bags she'd shoved in there when she'd moved in 4 months ago. Most of it was junk. Old textbooks, winter clothes she never wore, random kitchen items she'd picked up at thrift stores. At the very back, wedged behind a broken lamp, she found a box she didn't recognize. It was small, made of old cardboard that had gone soft with age. No label. She pulled it out and sat on the floor, lifting the lid carefully. Inside were things she'd never seen before. A hospital bracelet, baby girl Hayes, with a date that didn't match her supposed birthday. A lock of dark baby hair tied with a faded pink ribbon. A small stuffed elephant that triggered something in her memory, something just out of reach. And at the bottom, folded and creased like it had been opened and closed 1,000 times, a photograph. Claire's hands trembled as she unfolded it. The photo was old, the colors slightly faded, the edges worn. It showed a little girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, sitting on a man's shoulders. The girl was laughing, her small hands gripping his hair, pure joy on her face. The man was younger, probably in his late 20s, with dark hair and eyes that crinkled at the corners as he smiled up at the camera. But it was the location that made Claire's breath catch. They were standing in front of a restaurant. She could see the sign in the background, slightly out of focus but unmistakable. Carter's. She flipped the photo over with shaking hands. Written in her mother's handwriting were 3 words and a date. Grace and Popeye, 2005. Grace. Not Claire. Grace. The room spun. Claire pressed her back against the closet door. The photo clutched to her chest and tried to breathe. Grace. Her name was Grace. Had been Grace. She looked at the photo again, studying every detail. The little girl's face was round with baby fat, her smile gap-toothed. But the eyes, Claire knew those eyes. She saw them every time she looked in a mirror. And the man, now that she really looked at him, really saw him, she recognized those features. Older now, harder, the smile long gone. But the same man who'd been watching her for months with that strange mix of hope and pain in his eyes. Michael Carter was the man in this photo, which meant Michael Carter was Pape, Daddy, which meant she was Grace. Grace Carter. "Oh my God," Claire whispered to the empty apartment. Oh my God. She didn't remember getting dressed, didn't remember leaving her apartment or flagging down a cab she couldn't afford. All she knew was that she was suddenly standing outside Carter's on Michigan Avenue, the photo clutched in her hand, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might explode. It was early evening. The dinner rush would be starting soon. Through the windows, she could see servers setting up their sections, the familiar dance of preparation she'd been part of until 3 days ago. She pushed through the door. The hostess, Jennifer, who used to be friendly, looked up and her expression went cold. "Claire, you're not on the schedule tonight. I need to see Mr. Carter. He's busy. Now." Claire's voice came out stronger than she felt. "Tell him I need to see him now. It's important." Something in her face must have convinced Jennifer, because she picked up the phone and spoke quietly into it. A moment later, she nodded toward the back. "He'll see you in his office." Claire walked through the dining room on legs that didn't feel quite attached to her body. A few servers glanced her way, whispers following in her wake, but she didn't care. Nothing mattered except the photograph in her hand and the truth it represented. Michael's office door was open. He was standing behind his desk, papers spread out in front of him, but he looked up when she appeared in the doorway. "Claire?" He looked surprised, then concerned. "Are you all right? Rosa said you've been sick." "Who is Grace?" The words tumbled out before she could stop them. Michael went very still. "What? Grace?" She held up the photograph, her hand shaking so badly the image blurred. "Who is she?" The color drained from Michael's face. He stared at the photo like it was a ghost materialized in front of him. "Where did you get that?" "My mother's things. I found it today." Claire stepped into the office. Closing the door behind her, she needed answers, and she needed them now. "That's you, isn't it? In the photo? With this little girl?" "Yes." His voice was barely a whisper. "And on the back, it says, Grace and Papai, 2005. Papai means daddy in Portuguese. My mother was Brazilian." The pieces were falling into place, each one hitting like a hammer blow. "So this is a picture of you with your daughter, with Grace." Michael nodded slowly, unable to look away from the photograph. "Where is she now?" Claire asked. Though somewhere deep down, she already knew the answer. "Where's Grace?" "I don't know." He finally looked up at her, and the raw pain in his eyes made her take a step back. "She disappeared 20 years ago. My wife, your mother, took her and vanished. I've been looking for her ever since." The room tilted. Claire gripped the edge of his desk to steady herself. "You think I'm her?" "I don't think, I know." Michael moved around the desk, closing the distance between them. "The ring, Claire, that ring on your finger. I had it custom made for Grace's 6th birthday, 3 weeks before she disappeared. There's no other ring like it in the world." Claire looked down at her hand, at the silver band she'd worn every day for 2 years. The moon and star suddenly felt heavier, more significant. "I don't remember," she whispered. "I don't remember anything before I was 8 or 9. My mother said it was because we moved around a lot, that young kids don't remember that stuff. But that's not true, is it?" "Probably not. She took me." The reality was sinking in, each word harder to say than the last. "She kidnapped me from you and made me believe you didn't want me. She made me believe you abandoned us. I never stopped looking." Michael's voice cracked. "Every day for 20 years I looked for you. I hired investigators. I followed every lead. I never gave up. Grace, never. My name is Claire." The words came out automatic, defensive, but even as she said them, they felt wrong, like a costume she'd been wearing without knowing it. I can't." She couldn't finish the sentence because suddenly there were tears streaming down her face, and she couldn't breathe, and everything she'd thought she knew about herself was crumbling into dust. Strong arms wrapped around her, and she found herself pressed against Michael's chest, his hand cradling the back of her head like she was something precious and fragile. "I've got you," he said, his own voice thick with tears. "I've got you now. You're safe." But she wasn't safe. Nothing was safe anymore. Her identity, her history, her understanding of her own mother, all of it was gone, replaced by a truth so overwhelming she didn't know how to process it. "Why?" She sobbed into his shirt. "Why would she do this?" "I don't know. I've asked myself that question every day for 20 years. They stood there for a long moment. Claire crying out 2 decades of loss and confusion. Michael holding his daughter for the first time since she was 6 years old. Finally, Claire pulled back, wiping at her eyes. The rumors, the stuff about my mom being a scammer. Your sister, she's behind that, isn't she? Michael's jaw tightened. Yes, Isabella doesn't want this to be true. Because if I'm Grace, she loses her inheritance. Money. He said it like a curse. She's trying to destroy you over money. Claire laughed, but it came out bitter. Well, she's doing a pretty good job. Everyone at work thinks I'm a thief. I got a threatening text telling me to stay away from you. She looked up at him. This man who was supposed to be her father but felt like a stranger. What do we do now? We prove it. Michael's voice was firm, decided. We do a DNA test. We get irrefutable evidence. And then my sister can go to hell. And if it's negative, the question hurt to ask, but she had to. What if I'm not Grace? What if this is all just a crazy coincidence? Michael picked up the photograph from where it had fallen on his desk. He stared at it for a long moment, then looked at Claire, really looked at her, like he was memorizing every detail of her face. You have a scar above your left eyebrow. Grace got that when she fell off her bike trying to ride without training wheels. You bite your lower lip when you're nervous. Grace did that too. You tilt your head when you're listening, like a bird, just like she did. He reached out and gently touched the ring on her finger. And you're wearing her ring. The ring I put on her finger and promised would keep her safe. Fresh tears spilled down Claire's cheeks. I want to believe you, but I'm scared. Me too. He gave her a small, sad smile. But we'll figure it out together, okay? Claire nodded, not trusting her voice. There's a lab that can do the DNA test. We can go tomorrow, and we'll have results in a few days. He hesitated. Until then, maybe you should stay somewhere safe. If Isabella sent that text, she wouldn't actually hurt me, would she? The look on Michael's face was answer enough. I'll get you a hotel room, somewhere nice, where you can rest and think. He was already pulling out his phone. And Claire, don't tell anyone where you're staying. Not anyone. As he made the arrangements, Claire looked at the photograph again, at the little girl who was laughing, safe in her father's arms, at the man who'd smiled, who'd had no idea that in a few weeks, his whole world would be ripped apart. She touched the scar above her eyebrow, the one from a bike accident she didn't remember, and for the first time in her life, Claire Hayes wondered if she'd ever really existed at all. The hotel room Michael had booked for Claire was beautiful, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the lake, king-sized bed with sheets that probably cost more than her monthly rent used to, but she couldn't enjoy any of it. She sat on the edge of the bed, that photograph and her mother's notebook spread out in front of her, and tried to wrap her mind around what was happening. Grace Carter, that was her real name. Michael Carter was her father. Everything she'd believed about herself was a lie. Her phone buzzed. Another unknown number. She'd been getting calls and texts all night, all variations of the same message. Stay away from Michael Carter. This is your final warning. She didn't know who was behind them. Isabella seemed like the obvious answer, but there was something about the threats that felt more desperate than calculated, like whoever was sending them was running scared. Claire barely slept. When morning came, she showered and dressed in the same clothes from yesterday, all she had with her, and waited for Michael to call. He showed up at her door at 9 a.m. with coffee and a bag from a nearby boutique. Thought you might need some things, he said, handing her the bag. Inside were jeans, a sweater, basic toiletries. I guessed on sizes. Thank you. She took the coffee gratefully. Did you sleep? Not much, you. Same. They sat by the window, drinking coffee in silence. Outside, Chicago moved through its morning routine, completely unaware that Claire's entire world had imploded. I called a lab that does DNA testing, Michael said finally. We can go this afternoon if you want. Results take about 5 to 7 days. Okay. Claire's voice was small. And then what? Then we know for sure. And we figure out what comes next. Your sister isn't going to let this go. No, Michael agreed. She's not. Which is why I think we need to get ahead of this. He pulled out his phone and showed her a text from Daniel Chen. Isabella just hired Peterson and Wells, top litigation firm in the city. She's preparing for war. Claire's stomach dropped. She's going to sue. She's going to try to prove you're lying, that this is all some elaborate con. He set down his phone and looked at her directly. So, I've been thinking. We go on offense instead of defense. We call a meeting. Board members, company lawyers, Isabella. We present everything we have, the photograph, the notebook, the hospital bracelet, my testimony. We make her case in front of witnesses. That sounds terrifying. It will be. But it's better than letting her control the narrative. Better than months of legal battles where she gets to tear apart your life in depositions. Claire thought about the break-in at her apartment, the threatening texts, the rumors that had already cost her her job and her reputation. She's already tearing apart my life. Then let's stop her, together. The meeting was set for that afternoon at the Carter family mansion. Michael spent the morning preparing, printing documents, organizing evidence, calling board members. Claire tried to read, to distract herself, but the words swam on the page. At 2 p.m., a car picked them up. The driver was silent, professional. Claire watched the city pass by and tried to calm her racing heart. I don't know how to do this, she said as they pulled up to the mansion. How to convince a room full of strangers that I'm telling the truth. You don't have to convince them. Just tell your story. Let the evidence speak for itself. But as they walked into that enormous dining room, and Claire saw the faces waiting for them, Isabella's cold smirk, the lawyers with their briefcases and skeptical expressions, the board members who looked uncomfortable and confused, she realized that evidence might not be enough. Some people had already decided she was a liar. Nothing she said would change their minds. Isabella started strong, presenting her case like a prosecutor. Every piece of Claire's sparse history was twisted into evidence of fraud. The lack of records became proof of identity theft. Vanessa's mental illness became a family trait in manipulation. Even Claire's kindness to customers was reframed as calculated charm designed to get close to Michael. She's a con artist, Isabella concluded, her voice ringing with certainty. Just like her mother, and she's using my brother's grief against him. Claire felt the room's energy shift. Doubt creeping in. These were business people, used to thinking in terms of risk and liability. And she, a waitress with no family, no history, no proof beyond her word, looked like a massive risk. Then Michael stood, and everything changed. He didn't present evidence first. He presented emotion, raw, honest, devastating emotion that couldn't be faked or manufactured. He talked about the morning Grace disappeared, the empty bedroom, the note from Vanessa, the 20 years of searching, hoping, grieving. His voice cracked when he described the moment he saw that ring on Claire's finger, the moment impossible hope had ignited. I know you think I'm being foolish, he said, looking around the room, that I'm a grieving father who's latched onto the first person who might be Grace, but I've followed hundreds of false leads. I've met dozens of young women who thought they might be my daughter, and every single time, I knew within minutes that they weren't. He moved to stand beside Claire, his hand on her shoulder. But when I met Claire, something was different. Not just the ring, though that was undeniable. It was the way she moved, the way she talked, the things she did without thinking, the scar above her eyebrow from falling off a bike, the way she bites her lip when she's nervous, the way she tilts her head when she's listening, exactly like Grace used to do. Isabella opened her mouth to object, but Michael kept going. You want proof? Fine. Here's proof. He pulled out the hospital bracelet. Grace Carter, born March 15, 1999, at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Here's the birth certificate. Here are the medical records from her first 6 years. Every vaccination, every checkup. And here, he held up Claire's mother's notebook, is Vanessa's confession, written in her own hand, naming me as Grace's father. He spread it all across the table. And yes, we're doing a DNA test. We'll have scientific proof in less than a week. But I don't need science to tell me what I already know in my bones. This is my daughter. This is Grace. The silence that followed was profound. Gerald Chen picked up the notebook, reading through it carefully. One of the lawyers examined the hospital bracelet. They passed documents back and forth, whispering to each other. Isabella sat rigid in her chair, her perfect composure finally cracking. This doesn't prove anything. Those could be forged. The notebook could be fabricated. You're all being manipulated. Enough. Gerald's voice cut through her protest. Isabella, I've known your brother for 15 years. I've never seen him like this. And I've read this notebook. Either it's the most elaborate con in history, or it's exactly what Michael says it is. A mentally ill woman's confession. Of course you'd take his side. I'm not taking sides. I'm looking at evidence. Gerald turned to Claire. Young lady, I have a question for you. If the DNA test comes back positive, what do you want from the Carter family? Claire had been sitting quietly through all of this, but now she looked up. Nothing. Nothing. I don't want money. I don't want the company. I don't want anything except the truth. Her voice was steady, clear. I spent my whole life thinking my father abandoned me, that he didn't want me, and now I find out that wasn't true, that he looked for me every day for 20 years. That changes everything. She stood, facing the room. I know how this looks. Poor girl shows up with a convenient story and a ring, but I didn't come looking for Michael Carter. I didn't even know who he was when I started working at his restaurant. I was just trying to survive, to get through school, to build a life. Her hand moved to the ring, touching it unconsciously. My mother gave me this ring on her deathbed, made me promise to keep it safe. She said it was proof of something, but she died before she could explain. I wore it because it was all I had left of her. That's it. Then the photograph appeared, Michael added. In her mother's belongings. A photograph she'd never seen before. How would she know to look for that? How would she know what it meant? Isabella stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. You're all being played. Sit down, Isabella. Gerald's voice was firm. We're not done here. I will not sit here and watch you hand over the Carter fortune to some... It's not about the fortune. Michael's voice rose to a shout. It's about my daughter. My child who was stolen from me. Can you really not understand that? Is money so important to you that you'd rather see me lose Grace again than risk your inheritance? The question hung in the air like an accusation. Isabella's face went white, then red. How dare you? Answer the question. Would you rather I never found my daughter than lose money? The silence stretched. Everyone was watching Isabella, waiting for her answer. She looked around the room, saw no allies, and something in her broke. You don't understand. You never understood. When Grace disappeared, everyone cared about you. Poor Michael. Tragic Michael. I was invisible. And then when you threw yourself into the company, I finally had a chance to matter. To be seen. Her voice cracked. If Grace comes back, I disappear again. It was the most honest thing Claire had ever heard Isabella say. Michael's anger deflated. Bella, you're my sister. You'll always matter. But not the way I want to matter. Isabella grabbed her purse. Her composure completely shattered. You want your daughter back? Fine, have her. I hope you're right. I hope she's really Grace and not some con artist who'll destroy you. She looked at Claire, and there was something almost like sympathy in her eyes. And if you are Grace, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for trying to destroy you. But I'm not sorry for being angry that you came back. She left without another word, her heels clicking across the marble floor until the front door slammed. The room exhaled collectively. Well, Gerald said after a moment. That was dramatic. One of the other board members, a woman in her 60s named Margaret, spoke up. Michael, for what it's worth, I believe you, and I'd like to officially state that I support whatever decision you make regarding Claire. One by one, the others nodded their agreement. Thank you, Michael said quietly. That means more than you know. The meeting broke up shortly after. Lawyers packed their briefcases. Board members offered awkward congratulations. Gerald squeezed Michael's shoulder on his way out. The DNA results will make it official, he said. But I think we all know what they're going to say. When everyone had gone, Claire and Michael stood alone in the massive dining room. Did that really just happen? Claire asked. I think so. Your sister hates me. My sister hates herself. Michael sighed. She's not a bad person, just broken in her own way. Like my mother. Yeah, like your mother. They stood there for a moment, processing everything. Then Claire started laughing, not with joy, but with the slightly hysterical relief of someone who'd just survived something impossible. What? Michael asked. I just testified in front of a room full of lawyers about my dead mentally ill mother and my maybe father and my definitely hostile aunt, and somehow survived. That's absurd. Michael started laughing too, and soon they were both leaning against the table, laughing until tears streamed down their faces. When they finally caught their breath, Michael said, "Come on, let's get out of here. This house has too many bad memories. Where are we going?" "I have no idea, but anywhere is better than here." They left the mansion behind and drove aimlessly through Chicago until they found themselves at Navy Pier. Of all places, it was late afternoon, the autumn sun low and golden, families milling around eating ice cream and riding the Ferris wheel. "You want to go up?" Michael asked, pointing to the wheel. "In the Ferris wheel, really? Why not? When was the last time you did something just for fun?" Claire couldn't remember. So they bought tickets and climbed into one of the gondolas. And as the wheel lifted them above the city, she felt something shift. Maybe it was the height, seeing Chicago spread out below them like a toy city. Maybe it was the exhaustion from the emotional roller coaster of the past few days. But for the first time since finding that photograph, Claire felt like she could breathe. "Thank you," she said quietly. "For what?" "For believing me. For fighting for me. Even before you had proof." Michael looked at her, really looked at her, and smiled. "You're my daughter. That's what fathers do." The DNA results would come back positive. They both knew it. But in that moment, on a Ferris wheel in Chicago at sunset, it didn't matter. They'd already found each other. Everything else was just paperwork. The Carter family mansion in Lincoln Park looked like something out of a movie. All stone and glass and old money. Claire had passed it dozens of times on her walks through the neighborhood, never imagining she'd one day be standing inside. Now she stood in the massive foyer, Michael at her side, facing a room full of people who would decide her fate. Isabella sat at the head of the long mahogany table in the formal dining room, flanked by 2 lawyers in expensive suits. On the other side were 4 men Claire recognized from photos in Michael's office, board members of Carter Restaurant Group. Everyone looked grim, official, like this was a trial instead of a family meeting. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice," Isabella began, her voice smooth as silk. "I know this is unusual, but we have a serious matter to address." Michael's hand found Claire's. Giving it a reassuring squeeze, she was glad he was touching her. It was the only thing keeping her grounded. "As you all know," Isabella continued, standing and moving around the table like a prosecutor, "my brother has become convinced that this young woman," she gestured dismissively at Claire, "is his long-lost daughter Grace, who disappeared 20 years ago. She is Grace," Michael said firmly, "and this meeting is a waste of everyone's time." "Is it?" Isabella pulled out a folder and slid it across the table. "Because I've done some digging, and the evidence tells a different story." One of the board members, Gerald Chen, the CFO, opened the folder and started reading. His expression grew darker with each page. "What is this?" Michael demanded. "Background on your supposed daughter." Isabella's smile was sharp. "Did you know that Vanessa Hayes, the woman who raised her, had multiple arrests for fraud? That she used at least 3 different identities over the years? Or that Claire herself has no verifiable records before the age of 8? That's because my mother was hiding from you." Claire's voice came out louder than intended. "She took me and ran." "Of course there are no records." "Or," Isabella countered smoothly, "Vanessa Hayes was a con artist who specialized in identity theft, and she trained her daughter to do the same. A daughter who conveniently shows up at my brother's restaurant wearing a ring that could have been purchased at any pawn shop." "It wasn't purchased." Michael stood, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "That ring is one of a kind. I had it custom made. 20 years ago. How many jewelers could have copied the design in that time?" "Isabella, stop this!" Michael's voice was tight with anger. "You're inventing a conspiracy because you can't stand the thought of losing your inheritance. This isn't about money." Isabella's polished facade cracked for a moment. "This is about protecting you from being taken advantage of. Again, just like Vanessa took advantage of you." Vanessa was sick, Claire found her voice, even though her hands were shaking. "She had mental health issues. She thought she was protecting me. It doesn't make what she did right, but she wasn't trying to con anyone." "So you admit your mother was unstable?" Isabella pounced on the words. "Mentally ill, and you were raised by this woman, learning who knows what kind of manipulative behavior." "That's enough." Michael moved between Isabella and Claire, his body language protective. "You've made your point. Now let us make ours." "By all means." Isabella gestured magnanimously, but her eyes were cold. Michael pulled out his own folder, the one containing the photographs, Vanessa's notebook, the hospital bracelet. He spread them across the table. "This is Grace on her 5th birthday." He pointed to a photo. "Note the scar above her left eyebrow from a bike accident. Claire has the same scar in the same place. Lots of people have scars," Gerald interjected, though he was looking at the photos with interest. "This is Vanessa's notebook, found in Claire's mother's belongings after her death. In it, Vanessa confesses to taking Grace and explicitly names me as the father." One of the lawyers reached for the notebook, flipping through it carefully. "This could be fabricated. It's in my ex-wife's handwriting. I can provide samples for comparison." Michael was hitting his stride now, his voice growing stronger. "And this," he held up the photograph of him and Grace, "was taken 3 weeks before my daughter disappeared. The same photograph Claire found hidden in her mother's belongings. Why would she have this if she wasn't Grace?" Isabella's jaw tightened. "Michael, I understand you want to believe. I don't need to believe. I know." He turned to face the entire room, and Claire saw something shift in him. The careful businessman facade fell away, leaving only the father who'd been searching for 20 years. "I know, because when I look at her, I see my daughter. I see the way she bites her lip when she's nervous. Grace did that. I see the way she tilts her head when she's thinking. Grace did that. I hear her laugh, and it's the same laugh that used to fill my house before it became a tomb. The room had gone very quiet. I see how she touches that ring when she's scared, like it's a talisman. Because I told Grace when I gave it to her that as long as she wore it, she'd always have a piece of me with her. And even though she doesn't remember, even though Vanessa stole those memories from her, some part of Grace held on to that." Michael's voice cracked, and Claire saw tears in his eyes for the first time. "I've spent 20 years looking for my daughter. 20 years of empty bedrooms and unanswered prayers. I've followed dead ends across the country. I've interviewed thousands of people. I've never stopped searching. Never stopped hoping, even when everyone told me to move on." He looked directly at Isabella, "Including you." Isabella's face had gone pale. "And now she's here. She's standing right in front of me. And you want me to turn away because of money, because of inheritance, because you're afraid of losing your position in a company that wouldn't exist if I hadn't thrown myself into work to avoid going insane from grief." "Michael," Isabella started, but he cut her off. "No, you've had your say. Now it's my turn." He moved back to Claire's side, and this time he put his arm around her shoulders. "This is Grace Carter, my daughter, and I don't need a DNA test to know that. But we're doing one anyway, because apparently I need to prove to my own family that I can recognize my own child." He pulled an envelope from his jacket pocket and tossed it on the table. "Those are the DNA test results. We had them rushed. 99.9% probability of paternity." The silence that followed was absolute. Gerald reached for the envelope with shaking hands. He pulled out the official laboratory report, scanned it, then passed it to the others. Claire watched their faces change as they read, skepticism turning to shock, shock to reluctant acceptance. Isabella snatched the paper last. She stared at it for a long moment, her perfectly manicured hands trembling slightly. When she looked up, her expression was unreadable. This doesn't prove she isn't working with someone, that she didn't plan this whole thing. "Stop." The word came from Gerald, surprising everyone. He stood, pushing back from the table. "Isabella, I've known Michael for 15 years. I've watched him build this company while carrying a grief that would have destroyed most men, and I've watched you fight him on every decision that didn't benefit you personally." Isabella's face flushed red. I'm not finished." Gerald's voice was firm. "This young woman has scientific proof of her identity. She has photographs, documentation, and her mother's confession. But more than that, I just watched a father recognize his daughter, and I'll be damned if I'm going to be part of taking that away from him because you're worried about your trust fund." He turned to Michael. "You have my full support. Whatever you need from the company, from the board, you have it." One by one, the other board members nodded their agreement. Isabella stood there, isolated, her carefully constructed case crumbling around her. "You're all fools. She's manipulating him, you'll see. The only person being manipulative here is you." Michael's voice was cold now, final. And I'm done with it. You're removed from the board, effective immediately. The lawyers will send you the paperwork. You can't do that. I have voting shares, which gives you dividends, not a voice in company operations. Check your contract. Michael's expression was stone. You're still family, Isabella. You'll still get your money, but you're not welcome in my life or in my daughter's, not until you can accept the truth. Isabella looked around the room, searching for support and finding none. Her shoulders sagged, and for a moment, Claire almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Fine. Isabella gathered her things with stiff, jerky movements. But when this all falls apart, when she shows her true colors, don't come crying to me. She swept out of the room, her heels clicking sharply on the marble floor. The heavy front door slammed a moment later. The remaining board members stood, offering Michael handshakes and Claire cautious smiles. Gerald paused at the door. Welcome home, Grace. The name still felt strange, but Claire managed a smile. Thank you. And it's Claire, actually. Grace Carter is... I'm still getting used to her. Take your time, Gerald said kindly. You've earned it. When everyone had left, Claire and Michael stood alone in the enormous dining room. The DNA results lay on the table between them. Official and undeniable. Thank you, Claire said quietly, for standing up for me like that, for choosing me. There was no choice to make. Michael pulled her into a hug, and this time it felt natural. Right? You're my daughter. Nothing else matters. Claire buried her face in his shoulder and finally let herself believe it. She was Grace Carter. She had a father who'd never stopped looking for her. She had a family, broken and complicated, but hers. What happens now? She asked. Now. Michael pulled back, brushing a tear from her cheek. Now we figure out how to be a family again. It won't be easy. We've both changed. But we'll learn. I'd like that. They stood there in the fading afternoon light. Father and daughter reunited after 20 years. Both of them damaged but healing. Both of them finally home. The DNA results should have been the end of it. Scientific proof, undeniable and absolute, Grace Carter, Claire, was Michael's daughter. Case closed. But knowing something and accepting it were two different things. Claire moved into one of Michael's guest rooms the day after the board meeting. The penthouse had 4 bedrooms, all of them immaculate and rarely used. Hers, the one Michael said had the best morning light, was bigger than her entire studio apartment had been. Make yourself at home, he'd said, gesturing around the space. Whatever you need, just ask. But she didn't know what to ask for. Didn't know how to be Grace Carter when she'd spent 26 years being Claire Hayes. The first few days were awkward. Michael left for work early, came home late. When they were together, they made stilted conversation over takeout. Neither of them knew how to cook, talking about safe things like the weather and the restaurant business. Anything but the 20 years that stretched between them like a canyon. On the third night, Michael came home to find Claire sitting in the dark living room, still in her pajamas at 7 p.m. Hey, he set down his briefcase. You okay? I don't know. Her voice was small. I keep thinking I should feel different. Like finding out I'm Grace should have changed something fundamental, but I still feel like Claire, like I'm playing dress-up in someone else's life. Michael sat down across from her, the city lights reflecting off the windows behind him. When Vanessa took you, I spent months thinking that one day I'd wake up and this would all be a nightmare, that you'd be in your room, safe, but you never were. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. It took me years to accept that the life I had was gone, that I had to build a new one. How did you do it? Honestly, not very well. I threw myself into work, built an empire to fill the emptiness, pushed everyone away because letting people close hurt too much. He smiled sadly. I became someone I didn't really like. Claire pulled her knees to her chest. My mom, Vanessa, she was always so paranoid, always looking over her shoulder. I thought it was just her anxiety, but she was watching for you, wasn't she? Waiting for you to find us. Probably Daniel, my investigator, said she did a good job covering your tracks. Changed names, moved frequently, paid everything in cash. She knew how to disappear. She told me stories about you. The words came out hesitant. Said you were cold, that you cared more about money than family, that when she got pregnant, you wanted her to get rid of me. Michael's jaw tightened. None of that is true. You were planned, wanted. I was over the moon when I found out Vanessa was pregnant. He stood, walked to the window, his reflection ghost-like in the glass. I wasn't perfect. I worked too much. Didn't always know how to show affection. But I loved you, God. I loved you so much. Then why did she leave? I've been asking myself that for 20 years. He turned back to face her. Vanessa had issues. Anxiety, depression, maybe something more. She'd have episodes where she was convinced something bad was going to happen. I tried to get her help, but she refused. Said therapists would judge her, report her. He paused. I think in her mind, she really was protecting you from some imagined threat. Maybe she even believed her own lies about me eventually. Claire thought about the notebook, about her mother's frantic scribblings. I thought I was protecting her. I don't know how to grieve for her, Claire admitted. She was the only parent I knew. She raised me, took care of me, loved me in her own broken way, but she also stole me from you. She made me believe a lie my entire life. How am I supposed to feel about that? However you feel is right. There's no rule book for this. They sat in silence for a while, the weight of 2 decades pressing down on both of them. I went by the restaurant yesterday, Claire said finally. Just walked past. Couldn't bring myself to go in. Why not? Because everyone there knows me as Claire the waitress, the girl who might have been stealing. I don't know how to face them as Grace Carter, the owner's long-lost daughter. They'll think I was playing them the whole time. You weren't, though. You were just living your life. Was I? She looked at him. Because right now, I don't know what my life is. I don't know who I am. Before Michael could respond, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen and frowned. It's Daniel. I need to take this. He stepped into the other room. But Claire could hear his voice rising, sharp with alarm. When he came back, his face was ashen. What's wrong? Someone broke into your old apartment tonight, tore the place apart. Claire's blood ran cold. Looking for what? I don't know. But Daniel said they were thorough. Every drawer emptied, mattress slashed, even the walls checked for hiding spots. He moved to her side. Whoever sent you that threatening text, they're escalating. Isabella. Maybe. Or maybe someone else who doesn't want the truth coming out. He pulled out his phone again. I'm calling building security. No one gets up to this floor without clearance, and I'm staying home tomorrow. Michael, you don't have to. Yes, I do. You're my daughter, and I've already lost 20 years. I'm not losing you again. The fear in his voice was real, and it triggered something in Claire. A memory just out of reach. A feeling of being held, being safe, being loved. Grace's memory, maybe, or just wishful thinking. That night, Claire couldn't sleep. She lay in the unfamiliar bed, in the unfamiliar room, and felt the walls closing in. At 2 a.m., she gave up and wandered to the kitchen for water. Michael was already there, sitting at the island with a glass of whiskey. Couldn't sleep either, she asked. Haven't slept right in 20 years. He gestured to the seat next to him. Join me, she did, and they sat in comfortable silence until Claire finally asked the question that had been eating at her. Do you wish I was different? More like the Grace you remember? Michael looked at her for a long moment. No, because that Grace doesn't exist anymore. She grew up without me, became someone new, someone strong who survived a difficult childhood, who worked her ass off to put herself through school, who stayed kind even when life wasn't kind to her. He reached out and squeezed her hand. I like who you became. Claire, I'm proud of you. The words broke something open in her chest. She started crying, deep, wrenching sobs that she'd been holding back for days. Michael pulled her into his arms and held her while she fell apart. I'm sorry, she gasped between sobs. I'm sorry I don't remember you. I'm sorry I'm not the little girl you lost. Don't apologize. None of this is your fault. His voice was thick with his own tears. We're going to figure this out together, okay? She nodded against his chest, and for the first time since finding that photograph, she believed him. The next morning, Claire woke up with a sense of purpose. She'd spent 3 days hiding, drowning in confusion and grief, but she was done with that. I want to go somewhere, she told Michael over breakfast. Where? Millennium Park. Mom used to take me there sometimes. It was the one place she seemed happy. They went that afternoon. Walking the paths under gray November skies, Claire led them to a bench overlooking the skating rink, now empty for the season. "She'd sit here for hours," Claire said, settling onto the cold wood. "Just watching people. I never understood why." Michael sat next to her, and she saw recognition flash across his face. "I used to bring Grace here. Every Sunday morning, we'd get hot chocolate and sit on this exact bench." Claire's breath caught. "She was watching for you, all those years. She was bringing me here hoping you'd show up. But I stopped coming after you disappeared. I couldn't stand this park. Too many memories." They sat side by side, father and daughter, in the place where their paths had crossed for years without ever meeting. "I'm scared," Claire admitted, "of whoever broke into my apartment, of what Isabella might do next, of losing you again right after finding you. I'm scared too." Michael put his arm around her shoulders, and this time she leaned into him naturally. "But we're not alone anymore. That has to count for something." A jogger passed by, her ponytail swinging. A homeless man pushed a shopping cart, humming to himself. Life continued, indifferent to their drama. "Can I ask you something?" Claire said. "Anything. If the DNA test had come back negative, if I wasn't Grace, would you have still wanted to know me?" Michael was quiet for a moment, considering. "Yes, because in the months I spent getting to know you, I saw someone worth knowing. Someone who reminded me that there's still good in the world." He turned to look at her. "The DNA just gave me permission to love you, but I think I would have anyway." Fresh tears spilled down Claire's cheeks. But these were different, healing tears. "I don't know how to be Grace yet," she whispered, "but I think I'd like to try. We'll learn together." Michael kissed the top of her head. "Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere." They stayed on that bench until the sun started to set, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. And for the first time since her mother died, Claire felt like maybe she was exactly where she was supposed to be, even if the path to get there had been impossibly long, even if there were still threats lurking in the shadows. She was home, and that for now was enough. 3 weeks after the board meeting, Claire stood in front of the mirror in her room, trying to recognize herself. She'd cut her hair, just a trim, but enough to feel different. Started wearing the clothes Michael had insisted on buying her. Still uncomfortable with the price tags, but grateful not to worry about money for the first time in her life. The girl staring back at her looked more polished, more confident, but inside, she still felt like she was pretending. "You ready?" Michael called from the hallway. Today was the day. They were going public with the story. After Daniel discovered that the break-in at Claire's apartment had been orchestrated by someone on Isabella's payroll, a fact that came out when the hired thug got arrested for an unrelated crime and started talking, Michael had decided enough was enough. "We control the narrative," he'd said, "before someone else does." Now a reporter from the Chicago Tribune waited in Michael's office at the restaurant, ready to hear the impossible story of a father and daughter reunited after 20 years. Claire took a deep breath and opened her bedroom door. Michael was waiting, dressed in one of his perfect suits, but his expression was gentle. "We don't have to do this if you're not ready." "I'm not ready," she admitted, "but I don't think I ever will be. So let's just do it." They took his car downtown, neither of them talking much. The restaurant wasn't open yet. It was barely 9 a.m., but staff would start arriving soon for prep. Claire wondered how many of them would read the article, how many would feel betrayed that she hadn't told them the truth. As if reading her mind, Michael said, "Rosa wants to apologize to you. She feels terrible about the investigation. She was just doing her job. Maybe, but she let Isabella influence her. That's on both of them." The reporter, a woman in her 40s named Sarah Chen, was professional but clearly excited about the story. She had them sit in Michael's office, a photographer setting up lights and reflectors. "This is incredible," Sarah said, reviewing her notes. 20-year disappearance, believed kidnapping, father never gives up hope, daughter found working in his own restaurant. It's like something out of a movie. "It feels like that sometimes," Claire said quietly. The interview took 2 hours. Sarah asked about everything: the ring, the photograph, the DNA test, Vanessa's mental health issues, Isabella's attempts to discredit Claire. She was thorough but kind, especially when Claire teared up talking about her mother. "I know she did a terrible thing," Claire said, wiping her eyes. "But she was sick. She thought she was protecting me from something that didn't exist. I can't hate her for that." "Even though I'm angry, even though I lost 20 years with my father because of her delusions." The photographer captured that moment. Claire crying, Michael's hand on her shoulder, both of them looking broken, but together. When it was over, Sarah packed up her recorder. "The article will run Sunday, front page of the Metro section. I'll send you a copy before it goes to print." After she left, Claire collapsed into one of Michael's office chairs. "That was exhausting." "You did great." He pulled 2 bottles of water from the mini fridge. "Really, you were honest without being bitter. That's not easy. I don't want people to think Vanessa was a monster. She was just damaged." They sat in silence until Marco knocked on the door. "Boss, the staff's starting to arrive. Word's gotten around that Claire's here. They're asking questions." Michael looked at Claire. "Your call. We can go out the back if you want." But Claire shook her head. She was tired of hiding. "Let's talk to them." They gathered everyone in the main dining room. Servers, kitchen staff, busboys, hosts, about 30 people total, most of whom Claire had worked alongside for months. Their expressions ranged from curious to suspicious to cautiously hopeful. Michael stood at the front with Claire beside him. "Thank you all for coming in early. We have news that's going to seem impossible, but it's true. Claire isn't just an employee. She's my daughter, Grace, the daughter who disappeared 20 years ago." The silence was absolute. Then the whispers started. "I know some of you heard rumors," Michael continued. "Rumors that Isabella Carter spread to discredit Claire. Those rumors were lies, designed to keep the truth from coming out. We have DNA evidence, photographs, documentation. Claire is Grace Carter, and she's been found." Rosa stepped forward, her eyes red. "Claire, I'm so sorry. I should have believed you. Should have trusted you." "It's okay," Claire said, though her voice shook. "None of us knew what was really happening." Jessica, one of the servers who'd been coldest to Claire, raised her hand tentatively. "So all that stuff about your mom being a con artist." "My mother kidnapped me when I was 6, Claire said, deciding brutal honesty was the only way forward. She had severe mental health issues and believed my father, Michael, was dangerous. She changed our names, moved constantly, and raised me to believe I'd been abandoned. I had no idea who I really was until 3 weeks ago. She could see them processing this, trying to reconcile the quiet waitress they'd known with this impossible story. The article comes out Sunday," Michael added. "It's going to bring media attention. Probably a lot of it. If anyone feels uncomfortable with that, I understand. But I hope you'll all support Claire through this. She's been through hell." Slowly, people started coming forward. Rosa hugged Claire and cried. Marco shook Michael's hand and told him he was happy for them. Even Jessica apologized, admitting she'd believed the rumors because Isabella had been so convincing. By the time everyone left to start their shifts, Claire felt lighter, not fixed. She'd probably never be fixed, but less alone. "That went better than I expected," she told Michael. "People are good, mostly. They just needed the truth." The article ran that Sunday, and it exploded. By Monday morning, every major news outlet in Chicago had picked up the story. By Tuesday, it had gone national. The restaurant's phone rang constantly with interview requests, book deal offers, even a producer wanting to make a movie. Michael turned them all down. This is our life, not entertainment. But he couldn't stop the reporters who camped outside the building, or the social media frenzy, or the way strangers now recognized Claire on the street. "It'll die down," Daniel assured them. "These things always do. Give it a few weeks." In the meantime, Claire tried to build a new normal. She withdrew from her classes, couldn't handle being a student with photographers following her to campus. But Michael hired tutors so she could finish her degree privately. She started working at the restaurant again, but in the office now, learning the business side. "If you're going to be a Carter," Michael said, "you should know how the company works." She also started therapy. Dr. Patricia Morrison specialized in trauma and identity issues, and she didn't seem fazed by Claire's impossible story. "You're mourning multiple losses," Patricia explained during their 3rd session. "The mother you thought you knew, the identity you built, the father you might have had. That's a lot of grief to carry. How do I stop feeling like I'm two different people? You don't. You accept that you're both Claire and Grace, that your experiences as Claire shaped who you are, even if that identity was built on lies. Integration, not elimination. It helped. Slowly, Claire started introducing herself as Claire Carter instead of Hayes or Grace, a compromise that felt more honest. One evening, about a month after the article ran, Isabella called. Michael put it on speaker so Claire could hear. "I'm sorry." Isabella's voice was stiff, formal. "I was wrong to try to discredit you, wrong to put money above family. I let my worst instincts control me, and I hurt people I should have protected." Michael and Claire exchanged glances. This didn't sound like Isabella. "My therapist suggested I reach out," Isabella continued, answering their unspoken question. "I've been dealing with some things, realizing I've spent my whole life comparing myself to you, Michael, competing for attention, for recognition. When Grace disappeared, I was secretly glad because it meant I finally mattered." Her voice cracked. "That's a terrible thing to admit, but it's true." Claire felt an unexpected wave of sympathy. She knew what it was like to live with a truth that made you hate yourself. "I don't expect forgiveness," Isabella said, "but I wanted you to know I'm working on being better. And Claire, Grace, whoever you choose to be, welcome to the family, for what it's worth. I'm glad you're alive." She hung up before either of them could respond. "Do you believe her?" Claire asked. "I don't know, but maybe it doesn't matter. She's trying." "That's more than I expected." They were still sitting there when Michael's phone rang again. This time it was Gerald Chen. "Michael, you need to see this." He sounded excited. Someone came forward. A woman who worked at a women's shelter in Wisconsin 20 years ago. She remembers Vanessa and Grace. She has records. They drove to Gerald's office immediately. The woman, Mrs. Eleanor Pabst, was elderly now, but her memory was sharp. "I never forgot them," she said, showing them faded intake forms. The mother was so frightened, said she was running from an abusive husband. The little girl, Grace, she was such a sweet thing, always asking when her daddy was coming. Claire's heart clenched. She asked about him, constantly for the first few weeks. Then she stopped. "I think her mother convinced her he wasn't coming." Eleanor looked at Michael with sympathy. Vanessa was paranoid, delusional even, but she loved that little girl fiercely. She truly believed she was saving her. The documentation was enough to fill in gaps in Claire's history, to prove definitively that she was Grace Carter. Not that they needed more proof. The DNA was ironclad, but it helped somehow, made the story complete. On the drive home, Claire was quiet. "You okay?" Michael asked. "Yeah, just thinking about little Grace asking for her daddy." She looked at him. "I wish I remembered you." "Me too. But we're making new memories now. That has to be enough." And it was. It would be. Because after 20 years of searching, of loss, of grief, and lies, and impossible odds, Michael had found his daughter, and Claire had found her father. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. Trauma didn't heal overnight, and trust had to be rebuilt from scratch. But they'd walked through fire to find each other. Whatever came next, they'd face it together. 3 years later, Claire stood in front of the mirror in what used to be Michael's guest room, but was now undeniably hers, adjusting the collar of her blazer. Outside, Chicago was dressed in October gold, the trees in Lincoln Park ablaze with autumn color. "You ready?" Michael called from the hallway. "We're going to be late." "Coming." She grabbed her portfolio, presentation materials for the board meeting, and headed out. The penthouse had changed over the years. Claire's books lined the shelves now, mixed with Michael's business journals. Photos covered the walls, new ones of the two of them at restaurants, at charity events, on a trip to Portugal last summer, and tucked among them, that old photograph of 6-year-old Grace on her father's shoulders, finally displayed instead of hidden in a folder. They were running late because Claire had been up until 2 a.m. finishing the proposal she was presenting today. Carter Restaurant Group was expanding again. 3 new locations planned for next year. And Claire, now Vice President of Operations, was leading the charge. "You nervous?" Michael asked as they rode the elevator down. "Terrified, but in a good way." She'd finished her accounting degree 2 years ago, then immediately dove into an MBA program while working full-time at the company. The staff had watched her transformation from uncertain waitress to confident executive with a mix of pride and amazement. "Still weird seeing you in a suit," Marco had joked last week. He was general manager of all 5 restaurants now, and one of Claire's closest friends. The board meeting went smoothly. Claire presented her expansion plan with the kind of confidence that came from knowing her material inside and out. Gerald asked tough questions. He always did. But ultimately, the vote was unanimous. "Excellent work, as always," he told her afterward. "Your mother would be proud." He meant Vanessa, and Claire appreciated that he'd said it. She'd stopped flinching at mentions of her mother about a year ago, had finally made peace with the complicated truth of who Vanessa had been. After the meeting, Michael suggested lunch at the Michigan Avenue location, the restaurant where everything had started. "Sentimental," Claire teased as they walked in. "Maybe a little." The staff greeted them warmly. Claire had made a point of staying connected to the restaurant floor. Even as she'd climbed the corporate ladder, she knew everyone's name, asked about their families, remembered birthdays. It was important to her that they saw her as Claire, who'd once been one of them, not just as Grace Carter, the boss's daughter. They were halfway through lunch when Claire's phone buzzed, a text from her therapist's office reminding her about tomorrow's appointment. She'd kept seeing Dr. Morrison even after the initial crisis had passed, finding value in having someone to process the ongoing complexity of her identity. "Dr. Morrison tomorrow?" Michael asked, noticing her screen. "Yeah, 3-year anniversary session. She wants to talk about progress. You've come a long way." "We both have." It was true. Michael had changed too. He smiled now, laughed easily, had even started dating, though nothing serious yet. The hard edges that Claire remembered from those first months had softened. He'd found his daughter, and in doing so, had found himself again. "Oh, I almost forgot," Michael said, pulling out an envelope. "This came to the office this morning from Isabella." Claire opened it carefully. Inside was a check, a large one, made out to the Grace Carter Foundation for Missing Children, the nonprofit they'd established last year. A note was attached in Isabella's handwriting, "For the children who are still waiting to be found, with love and regret, Isabella." "She's been sending these monthly," Michael said. "Never asks for recognition, just wants to help." Isabella had moved to Boston after everything fell apart, started fresh with a new therapist and a new life. She and Michael talked occasionally now, carefully, with old wounds still tender, but they'd never be close. Some betrayals left permanent scars, but she was trying. That counted for something. After lunch, Michael suggested a walk. Claire knew where they were going before he said it. Millennium Park. It had become their tradition. Every few weeks, they'd walk here together, sit on that same bench, and talk about everything and nothing. The place where their paths had crossed for years without meeting had become their place of healing. The park was busy on this beautiful fall afternoon. Tourists taking photos at Cloud Gate, families playing in the gardens, street musicians filling the air with music. They found their bench and sat, watching the world go by. "I have something to tell you," Claire said. Michael looked at her with concern. "Everything okay?" "Better than okay." She couldn't keep the smile off her face. "I'm pregnant." For a moment, Michael just stared. Then his face broke into the biggest smile she'd ever seen. "Claire, oh my God, when did you... Congratulations." He pulled her into a hug, and Claire laughed, feeling tears of joy on her cheeks. "Ben and I found out last week. I wanted to wait to tell you in person, not over the phone." Ben was her fiancé, a corporate lawyer she'd met through Gerald, good man, patient and kind, who'd understood from day one that Claire came with complicated history. "How far along?" 8 weeks, still early, but healthy. Michael pulled back, his eyes wet. "I'm going to be a grandfather." "Scariest sentence I've ever heard," Claire joked, but she was crying too. They sat there for a while, processing this new chapter. Claire's hand drifted to her stomach, still flat, but holding an entire future. "I've been thinking about names," she said. "If it's a girl, I'd like to call her Grace." Michael's breath caught. "You don't have to." "I want to, Grace Carter. The name, the identity. She deserved better than what happened to her. This feels like a way to honor that, to bring her full circle. And if it's a boy, still working on that, though Ben suggested Michael. 2 Michael Carters in the family. That's just confusing. They laughed. And it felt good. Easy. The kind of natural joy that had taken 3 years to build. Claire looked down at her left hand. She still wore the ring, the silver band with the blue stone, the moon and star that had started everything. She'd had it resized so it fit properly now, and she never took it off. "You know what Mom," Vanessa, wrote in her notebook, the part I never showed you. "What?" She said, "The ring will prove it, if she ever finds him, if he ever finds her." Claire touched the stone gently. She was right. This little piece of metal and stone, it brought us back together. She kept it all those years, could have sold it, lost it, thrown it away, but she kept it and gave it to you. I think part of her always hoped we'd find each other, even while she was running, even while she was lying to me about you. Some deep part of her wanted me to have proof, wanted me to find my way home. Do you forgive her? Claire considered the question. I'm working on it. Some days are easier than others. I forgive her for being sick, for being scared. I'm still angry about the lies, but I'm learning to hold both things at once. That's all any of us can do. A young couple walked past, the woman's hand on her pregnant belly. The man was talking to her stomach, making her laugh. Claire watched them with a smile. Are you scared? Michael asked. About being a parent. Terrified. What if I'm like Vanessa? What if I can't trust myself? Can't keep my child safe? You're not Vanessa. You've done the work, faced your trauma, built a support system, and you won't be doing it alone. He took her hand. I missed everything with you. Missed first steps and first words and first days of school. But I'll be there for my grandchild, for all of it. Promise. I promise. And you know I keep my promises. Claire leaned her head on his shoulder, watching the sun sink lower in the sky. In a few months, her life would change again. She'd be a mother, responsible for another person's entire world, but she wouldn't be alone. She had Michael, had Ben, had a community that had rallied around her story, had resources and support that Vanessa never had. I've been thinking, Michael said, about what you said at the board meeting, about legacy, building something that lasts beyond us. And I want to step back, not retire, but scale down, spend more time with you. With my grandchild when they arrive. I spent 20 years building an empire because I was running from grief, but I'm not running anymore. What would you do instead? I don't know. Travel, maybe. Learn to cook. Actually learn. Not just reheat takeout. Teach my grandkid to ride a bike. His voice went soft. All the things I didn't get to do with you. You can teach me to ride a bike. I never learned properly. Deal. He kissed the top of her head. We'll take it slow. Both of us still learning how to be a family. I like the sound of that. They sat on that bench until the sun set. Painting the Chicago skyline in shades of pink and gold, the park began to empty. Workers heading home, tourists finding dinner, the city preparing for evening. Claire thought about all the Sundays little Grace had come here, sitting on this bench with her father, drinking hot chocolate and watching the world. Thought about all the times Vanessa had brought her here later, watching that same bench, hoping for a miracle she'd simultaneously run from. And now here they were, 3 years into their second chance, scared and scarred but healing, building a future from the ruins of the past. Come on, Michael said, standing and offering his hand. Let's go home. Claire took it, letting him pull her up. As they walked toward the parking lot, she touched the ring one more time. Mom told me this ring was important, she said, that it was a promise. What kind of promise? She never said, but I think I finally understand. Claire looked at Michael, at the father she'd lost and found again. It was a promise that love doesn't end, that some things, some connections, are too strong to break, even with distance and time and lies between them. I like that interpretation. Me too. And I'm going to tell my daughter the same thing someday, that this ring means she's always loved, always protected, always home, no matter what. They reached the car, and Claire paused, looking back at the park one last time. Somewhere in that expanse of grass and paths and benches, A little girl named Grace had once been happy, sitting with her father, completely unaware that her world was about to shatter. And somewhere in that same space, a young woman named Claire had once sat with her troubled mother, longing for a father she'd never known. Both of those girls were gone now, transformed into someone new. Someone who was both and neither. Someone who'd survived the impossible and come out stronger. Claire Carter, daughter, executive, soon-to-be mother, survivor, and finally, blessedly home.